because all that Blue and I ask is the hosting school provide an audience, which of course would be your students, and a space to present the program, which most likely will be a gymnasium. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts there. So, you're like, this is all great, Kat, what can I do tonight? I know the educators, by nature, you guys are very eager and wanting to capitalize on things, so this is the answer. On your table, there was 2 pages stapled together. One was a cover letter from Blue about the program. He writes cover letters, he does PowerPoints, and he's just multi-talented here. The second page in that pamphlet is an interest reply form, and that can be completed tonight. Now, it does ask for some very specific questions, phone numbers, your enrollment numbers, things of that nature, and perhaps you might not have all that info tonight, and that is fine. You can take it back to school, they can complete it there. Can't they, Blue? Right, they can complete it there, and make sure it's completed to its entirety, including the questions about the gym. Now, Blue, you included those because of the nature of this program. The projection screen, the projector, all that. It's a technical program, and we want to make sure it's presented to its highest level, and so we need a little information about your gym space. So hopefully that won't cause anyone to not be able to host the program. But just make sure that that form is completed in its entirety, and it can be faxed back to the number included on the paperwork, or if you have the ability, you can scan it and email it to me. My email address is on there, my fax is on there, all that stuff, okay? So that's what you can do tonight. Now, so we talked about what you can do today. Now the booking process, the way this works, obviously you guys would probably enjoy knowing what happens after you turn your form in. This is all the mundane stuff, Blue, and normally I just take care of this, but it'd be good for you to learn as well. Okay, once Kat receives your completed form, it'll be filed, and all those binders I keep by my desk that you always knock over, that's all those paperwork from these nice teachers. And then I'll email you with a suggested date and time. Now the booking process holds the same for the Pride program if you were to complete information about that as well. And I try to use email just because I think that's helpful for everybody, and then we have documentation of it. Thank you. I will sick Tony direct on you. So, given that I use email, if you would be so kind as to add me to your email address book. That is in red and in bold. If you star it, highlight it, if you can add me to your email address book, that will allow your school server to let me come through with my messages as opposed to it getting bounced back to me or going in your junk file. So that would be my one request if you're willing to do so. All right, just a couple other details. If we are so lucky to visit your school, you'll receive an email prior to your show date filled with the logistical details. We don't want anyone to feel stressed out or unsure of what it means to have Blue in your school building, because you may feel like you're selling yourself to the devil, which it's arguable some days. Oh, sorry, it's a hot microphone. Oops. He's fantastic, and you really would be lucky to have him. I just can't imagine how lucky I am to spend every day with him. So lucky. Okay. Now there are some other perks included with this program, visiting your school, some giveaways. We are committed to making sure the content of the program is something that you can build on. Obviously, the Dairy Nutritional Council of Indiana has provided a great framework. This program can be used as an incentive to their already existing program, or a reward for you guys meeting the milestones of the Field to Play program and framework that they've provided you. Even on top of that, there'll be some leave behinds or some giveaways like posters and things like that we're still kind of hashing out as to what the best way is and what resources we can give you guys to continue to have the messaging in your building. We do need to point out that unfortunately, if the show comes to your school, there's no additional way that we can give Blue some added time in your building. So additional autographs and pictures like that are tough. With 140 shows to do and 350 additional appearances, Blue has a very tight schedule, and so we appreciate your understanding of that. However, I'm sure today he seems to be very generous with his photos, and you could get one today. All right. Now, the really cool thing about this program, as we just touched upon, and we want to make sure you can build upon it. It's my last one. Last two. Okay? And so there's a follow-up event for the schools that host the Fuel Up to Play presented by Blue program. We think it's important to have a culminating activity, and So for those schools that host the program, you have the opportunity to enter into a contest that Blue is having. Now, in your logistical email that would come to you prior to your show day, there will also be rules and guidelines attached to this contest. But the general gist of it is that there will be criteria. And our assumption is that the criteria will somehow guide you to further and to demonstrate that you are fueling up to play 60 every day in your school. So we want to see how you can answer that question. And in the previous contest that Blue has with the Pride program, we're respectful of your time and resources, and so we're not looking for something with dollar signs on it or a regurgitation of the info. We want you to use your head, and we want your students to be involved, and we want to see what you can show us about implementation of the Fuel Up to Play message into your school. So if your school would be so lucky to be chosen as the winner of this contest, 5 things would come back to your school. Now, Blue, the first thing would be, yes, a hefty supply of milk for your students and your colleagues in the building. A second thing, the 2006 World Champion Super Bowl trophy would come to your school, and maybe by then there might be a little other hardware involved from this season, looking pretty sharp on the field. Number 3, there will be the Fuel Up to Play 60 Challenge Trophy, which will almost be as tall as Blue, and your school will get to keep that for the school year so that everyone knows that you guys are the winners. What's the 4th thing, Blue? Oh my goodness. Indianapolis Colts cheerleaders would return with Blue, as well as 5th thing, Indianapolis Colts players. So to have the opportunity to have an Indianapolis Colts player in your school building to again drive home the message of healthy eating. Oh, well, Blue would be there too, of course. I sincerely apologize. So anyway, to have a Colts player or players pending availability in your building to drive home the same message that Blue and the Dairy Nutrition Council of Indiana is trying to do, I think would really be a triple threat to success. So consider that another incentive to filling out your interest reply form and hopefully hosting Blue and I when we can come visit in your school building. So our last slide, I'm sorry, I should have shown that. That's about the day of and the follow-up event. And then our last slide is if we have any questions that might benefit the whole room, or if you have a question that's just related to your school, Blue and I can answer that on the side of the room. Any whole room questions? There's a lot of expensive equipment up here. Thank you. Anything? Well, Blue, you must have done a fantastic job. You've answered all your questions. Your PowerPoint was really informative. Well, we do want to thank you advisors for coming tonight. Blue, they've had a full school day and they spent the evening here with you. So, without further ado, we'll wrap it up. We also want to thank the Dairy Nutrition Council of Indiana. We want to thank Deb and Diane and Mary and their other colleagues that are in the room. And most of all, Blue, we want to thank